Chapter 3. Shino wasn't looking forward to today. After passing the test, Kurenai had them doing the most annoying chores. On the plus side, they were banned permanently from capturing Tora, the cat from hell, after Shino gave the fiend the worst case of fleas the feline had ever had. Apparently it had taken 2 entire weeks to finally get rid of them. And even then they returned for days at a time. Naruto laughed himself sick over that one. There was one good thing about being on a team with Hinata. Over the course of a few weeks, the girl was really coming out of her shell. Naruto's boisterous attitude and Shino's gentle support had the girl's confidence growing weekly. Kurenai proved to be an excellent teacher, particularly when it came to genjutsu. She had been very surprised to learn that Shino was a natural at using the art, though he had great difficulty holding it for more than an hour. The more intricate the illusion, the less time he could hold it. On the plus side, the team worked great together. Naruto had the strangest ability to bring them together, while Shino found ways to use their abilities to their full potential in a mission. Hinata was their healer. After dealing with a month of boring chores, they were finally given a Chunin rank mission. There was just one catch. The client was a drunk who was adept at pushing Naruto's buttons. Shibi, when he learned of where the mission was going to take place, decided to add to his son's hive. There were very few bugs that could thrive in the water. Shino took one look at the bugs and decided against adding them. When asked, his father was somewhat surprised at the answer. "I don't want the fireflies to electrocute them by accident." Shino had, at Kurenai's suggestion, tested to see what his elemental type was. He had startled the woman greatly when she found out that he had 2 elemental types, with a minor in a third. Shino was good at fire and lightning jutsu, and was somewhat adept at wind. Naruto was good at wind as well, but had some ability in the other 4. Hinata was an earth and water type user. Fine, but I expect to see at least 3 new insect species when you get back. Fair enough. Naruto, duck and cover! Shouted Shino. They had barely been away from the village more than an hour, and already Shino had the worst migraine he had ever dealt with. Their client had not only lied about who was after him, but he had underranked the mission. And now they had to deal with rogue ninja after their blood. Shino silently sighed. Some days he really hated waking up. Hinata and Shino had made quick work of the 2 brothers, while Naruto guarded the client. Shino drained most of their chakra while Hinata sealed off their jutsu. It was an effective combo. "All right, team, should we continue or go back?" asked Kurenai. "Continue, but only if we get some backup. If we succeed, I'm sure Mr. Tsuna's problem will have mostly been taken care of," said Shino. Naruto completely agreed. Unfortunately, Kurenai didn't have any summons on her, which meant they would have some problem getting word back to the village. Or so she thought. Shino sighed. Then went into the forest and brought back a snake curled around his arm. Taka has agreed to deliver the message, though it could take a day or 2 before he can make it to the Anbu headquarters. Kurenai stared. "Where did you get a poisonous snake that willingly delivers messages?" "I listened. When I found him I asked politely and he agreed. Snakes usually agree to reasonable demands if you can deal with listening to their perverted humor." Kurenai tied the message around the snake, and Taka slithered in the direction of Konoha. Every snake within a 20-mile radius of the village was aware of Anko, Mitarashi and Shino. However, only one of the 2 could actually speak to the regular snakes. Back in the T&I department, Anko heard the hiss, and looked up from the evil paperwork. There was one of the more poisonous snakes in the vents ... and it had a scroll with Kurenai's neat handwriting. Once she thanked the snake, and fed it a mouse that she always kept on hand. To the horror of the other females in her section, she read the scroll ... and ran straight to the Hokage. "Anko, what's the rush?" asked Hibiki. She handed over the scroll, and upon reading it he went with her. "Hello Anko, Hibiki." Hokage-sama, I just got a message from Kurenai that the client underrated the mission they are currently on. She's requesting backup. The Hokage stared at her, before reading the scroll. How did you get this? I wasn't aware she had a summoning contract. Kurenai wrote the message, but it was the Aburame brat who got it to me. At the sound of affection in her voice, the two men looked at her curiously. What? The kid likes snakes as much as I do, and he can talk to the big ones in Area 44. The Hokage pinched the bridge of his nose. Most of the other genin teams wouldn't be able to handle this kind of mission, and the only one that could would have even greater difficulty dealing with Shino's team. Sakura Haruno, Kiba Inuzuka and Sasuke Uchiha all had some issue with at least one of the members on the team. Sakura hated Naruto and Shino. Sasuke had a slight problem with bugs and disliked Naruto for the many times the boy pranked him, and Kiba was louder than Naruto was on his worst day. I can go, sir, suggested Anko sweetly. Fine, you can go, back Kurenai up. It's a better idea than sending one of the rookie teams, sighed the Hokage. She cheered, and went to get her usual bag to pack. She usually kept it by the door just in case. So what other ninja villages are there? Asked Shino. He was bored. There are several, but the most notable ones are Sand, Mist, Leaf, Rock, and Cloud. Each of them is led by a Kage. The Hokage, Raikage, Tsuchikage, Mizukage and Kazukage? Said Shino. How did you know about that? I read. It wasn't until they saw the half-completely bridge that Naruto finally said something. He had nearly frozen up during the fight, but years of pranking the Anbu with Shino had managed to get him moving. He half hoped to redeem himself, at least until Shino took it upon himself to cheer the boy up. Naruto, I would have frozen too if my hive hadn't been egging me on at the time. Really? He asked. My fireflies were buzzing more than normal, and gave me a shock the moment the puddles exploded. Shino, upon learning of his elemental specialty, had tried something new with his hive. It was rather amusing to see the look of complete shock on Kurenai's face when she found out that Shino had managed to get the fireflies in his hive to hold an electrical charge. Once or twice, Sasuke had paid Shino to shock his teacher with the bugs so the man would show up on time. To say Kakashi had gotten the point was an understatement. He had become slightly paranoid of late whenever he saw a flying bug. For some strange reason, even though he was a lightning user too, Shino's spark actually hurt the man. Naruto laid the blame on the weird ability Shino sometimes displayed. Like the few times they had somehow appeared above the Aburame mansion during a prank. They always appeared without warning with a loud crack, to Shibi's displeasure. Over the weeks since becoming Genin, Shino had been experimenting with the odd ability, and had managed to figure out how to use it on command. Getting it to work properly without the crack was another story. Naruto was at least a bit more aware of his surroundings this time around. Though Shino could have done without the random kunai being thrown in his direction. Right as he was about to tell Naruto to stop, the boy accidentally alerted them to the fact they were about to be ambushed. Duck! Shouted Kurenai. A large blade flew over their heads, and Hinata barely got the client down in time to avoid his head being cut off. And then everything quickly went pear-shaped. Naruto, Shino and Hinata all took defensive stances around Tazuna. The man wisely kept his trap shut. Shino was the first to react to the man when he abruptly appeared behind them. His Kikai bugs turned the water clone into a puddle beneath their feet before the others registered his presence. The demon of the bloody mist had been somewhat impressed by the reaction time. Naruto, you and Hinata protect Tazuna while I assist Sensei, said Shino. Be careful, Shino, said Hinata. Zabuza wasn't impressed with his bravado. Until Shino unleashed at least half of his fireflies, all with a rather potent electrical charge. The sparks sent off by the insects prevented the water clones from harming him, while Shino got up close with the man. Zabuza tried to trick him onto the water. Only to discover that Shino had thought of that problem and taken to the sky on his hive. It was one of Naruto's favorite tricks. They had escaped the Anbu more than once by riding on Shino's hive. It wasn't exactly their fault that people rarely looked up. Shino sent wave after wave of insects. Zabuza was unhappy to learn that the boy was steadily leeching his chakra. And redirecting it to his teacher. Kurenai started to push Zabuza back. Right as the man was about to launch a counterattack. She appeared. Her timing was as horrible as ever. Anko grinned when she saw her favorite Aburame helping her roommate out. It was simple enough why she liked Shino, and by extension Naruto. Shino liked snakes as much as she did, and could honestly care less that she was the abandoned apprentice of the traitor Haimayu. Well, that and he put up with her quirks. To be fair, she was also one of the rare people who had seen his eyes, and knew he was only the Aburame because Shibi had adopted him and no one knew about it. She wasn't going to betray that trust. With the addition of Anko, Zabuza was definitely in a fix. With absolutely no warning at all, two senbons suddenly lodged themselves in Zabuza's neck. Anko wasn't impressed by the little act in the least. "Thanks for the assistance. I have been tracking him for some time," said a young voice. According to Shino's hive, the person before them was female. "Knock off the act, Gaki. If you're planning on killing someone, you don't go for the neck," Anko said. The figure leaned down to pick up Zabuza, and they didn't move. It was a stalemate at the moment anyway. Kurenai needed to heal and Zabuza was in no condition to bother them for a bit. Besides, if they allowed him to live now, Gato wouldn't bother hiring someone who could be more troublesome later. Anko helped Kurenai to the bed, while the others watched as Yuna. "We should be able to take it easy for a few days. The nerves that brat hit put people in a death-like state, and those aren't easy to recover from," said Anko. Kurenai was sound asleep. "That was a girl who attacked him." "Apprentice?" suggested Shino. Anko looked at him. "How the hell do you know that was a girl?" "My hive reacts differently to depending on gender," said Shino blandly. "Anyway, I seriously doubt we'll have to deal with the girl until Zabuza recovers. In the meantime, I'm going to get you brats up to date on elemental chakra," said Anko. Hinata happened to share a similar preference to Anko, which meant she would have Anko order herself. Luckily for her, she was used to Anko's antics. Plus Anko was already aware of Hinata's confidence problem, since the girl often crashed at Kurenai's house. Shino had a few wind scrolls he had brought with him from the clan library. He had only been expecting bandits, which often scattered unless they were being led by a ninja. He had hoped that he could help Naruto learn a few wind tricks. They had moved past water walking ages ago. It was the only reason they had put up with catching Tora 3 times in a single week. "Naruto, catch." Shino tossed one of the higher-class ninjutsu scrolls he had found to his friend. Naruto fumbled a bit, but didn't drop it. "Where did you get that, Gaki?" asked Anko. "I borrowed a few elemental scrolls before I left. I brought a few for Hinata-chan as well," said Shino. Hinata caught hers with a bit more ease than Naruto had. "Expecting a break?" asked Kurenai. "The mission was only for bandits. I wasn't planning on Jounin and Chunin level shinobi from Mist," said Shino blandly. "Fair point. Naruto, why don't you work on that wind scroll while I help Shino with his firepower?" "Hi, Kurenai-sensei." Naruto loved Kurenai. She not only taught him new jutsu when he asked, but she never glared at him. She even took time to explain to him whenever he was confused. The fact that Shino also liked her made her his favorite jounin. Kurenai was a bit of a pyro, which was probably why she even dared to share a house with Anko Mitarashi. Shino also shared her love of burning things. He once accidentally set the Uchiha compound on fire when he was 8. Itachi Uchiha, The supposed traitor of the clan, it was one rumor he didn't believe in the least, had been the one to find out that it was Shino who did it. Shino had more or less struck up a friendship with the boy, who was rather startled to learn that Shino wasn't as boring as his clan. Well, that and Shino was more than happy to share a few scrolls in exchange for borrowing some from Itachi. Scrolls Shino now owned, since he didn't want the elders to learn he had been friends with the rogue Uchiha. Itachi had been considerate enough to leave the scrolls he had borrowed outside Shino's window, so no one was aware they had gone missing. Shino put his hands into the seals without blinking. He had been intrigued by the dragon fire technique he had heard about before Itachi went rogue, but had never had the time to properly try it out. It was a strictly Uchiha clan trick. Kurenai stared when the immense dragon of flame appeared before her. That was clearly a Jounin-level technique. So where the hell did Shino get enough chakra to pull it off? Sensei? Asked Shino. Shino. How is it that you have enough chakra to produce a full dragon? She asked. I have no idea. Perhaps I still have some of Zabuza's chakra left over? That would make a little bit of sense, but she could sense it wasn't the full story. Shino was a bundle of mysteries wrapped in a lock where the key was a puzzle. He was the only Aburame alive who could use fire and lightning type jutsu, which was generally shunned because they killed insects in large quantities. He was more social, and wasn't shunned by a majority of the village. Except for when he was pranking people Naruto Uzumaki. And then there were his eyes. Shino was the only person in Konoha with emerald green eyes. No one knew who his birth parents were, or why someone had left him on the Aburame doorstep nearly 12 years ago. He didn't admit the fact that he was adopted to just anyone, unless he trusted them completely. Which begged the question. Who was Shino Aburame? Naruto was passed out on the ground, the scroll Shino had given him pinned beneath his body. He was so tired that he didn't register the person near him until a gentle hand shook him awake. He woke up with a start, expecting to see Hinata there. Instead it was a girl who could rival Hinata in the looks department. She had warm brown eyes and light raven black hair. He could sense the faint pulse of chakra beneath her skin, which meant she had to be Zabuza's mysterious apprentice. Naruto kept his demeanor open, keeping the fact that he knew who she was to himself. He even helped her pick medicinal herbs to heal her master. See you later, Haku-chan. Tell Zabuza we'll be waiting for him, said Naruto cheerfully. Haku stumbled slightly, caught off guard by that last remark. She paused, and looked at him. You knew? Chakra hum under the skin. Hard not to notice, particularly since I'm friends with someone with bugs under theirs, said Naruto, never dropping his friendly stance. Bugs? She asked. She didn't really mind them that much, but she found them somewhat annoying at times. Tall, dark hair and wears sunglasses even when indoors, he clarified. The one who used fireflies to zap Master Zabuza? She asked. Naruto nodded. Interesting trick. I wish we weren't on opposite sides. Never know. Maybe Gato will do something phenomenally stupid and you can join us on the walk home. We don't have a home. Like I said, things change. See you later Haku-chan, said Naruto. Haku walked away, wondering about the oddity that was Naruto Uzumaki.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you guys want to watch more like it, please subscribe to my channel and become part of the video game fanfiction plot. And please leave a comment down below and hit that like button. If you guys have any suggestions on any stories you guys want me to read, don't hesitate. They're always welcome here in the video game fanfic plot. That also goes for video games. Until next time, goodbye!